Hello, welcome to Mart's Garage. I've driven the 100E a few times now, 2 or 3 times, and one of the things that I can feel is like a reluctance to roll freely. So what I thought I would do is check the tracking. I have these vintage Dunlop tracking gauges. They're not set up for this vehicle, so I need to set them up and then take some measurements. I need to try and remind myself how to use them and see, just see how I get on. Okay, the first thing that I can see that I need to do is adjust these down and then adjust them to suit the wheel, and I'll just go into this part of the wheel here. I've only used these a couple of times. Okay, that looks okay. Right, 1, 2, third slot down. 1, 2, third slot down. I'll go and set the other one up the same. Okay, I've got that one arranged in the same way. Third slot down. I think that's okay. Yeah, I think that's okay. So I'm just kind of muddling my way through this because I haven't used them for years. I got these from Mick at the scrapyard, and the mirror was missing, so I had a mirror cut to suit. I'm not sure how well I can show what's going on here, but basically I have to look down that thing there. The eyepiece is missing. Right, that's aligned. Okay, let's bring it down here. Let's see if we can see what the marks are saying. Let me see if I can line the camera up with the... Okay, hopefully you can see what I'm seeing, and what I'm doing now, I'm changing the thing, moving the arm to get it aligned. I think that might be aligned. Let me look down with my eye. Yeah, that's aligned. Okay. Now, and this is telling me that these are 2 degrees in. These wheels are 2 degrees in. Now, what do you do now then? Specified width inches. So that is, how do you do this? Hang on. Okay. What that is saying to me, I've got that set at 13 inches, right, which is roughly the dimension there. I can't see how that's relevant, to be honest, and there's 2 degrees, and that is reading around about 7/16 toe in, which obviously is much too much, isn't it? Oh, hang on, no, yeah, I need to set it for the diameter of the tyre, don't I? Yeah, that's right. I need to set it for the diameter of the tyre. Okay, hang on, let me take a quick measurement. Okay, these wheels measure about 21 inches, but the standard wheels, which are the wheels that the toe-in specs would have been set against, read around about 22, maybe 22.5 inches. So let's reset this. So there's 22. Let's just go a tiny bit past, about there. So now 2 degrees, which is what these are reading here, you know, getting on for 2 degrees, is more than half an inch. Okay. So let's have a think about how I'm going to do this then. I did slacken all the track adjusters off. Don't have great access now. What I might do is go and put my overalls on so I can reach underneath better without getting too dirty. But basically I need to tow it out a long way, don't I? Let me do a sanity check. Where's the back wheel? There's a back wheel down there, look. And then the back wheel disappears there-ish. There, actually. And can you see that if you then line the front wheel up, it's miles outboard of the back wheel? Let's do that on the other side. Yeah, look, it's the same here. There's the back wheel is visible. Looking along the sill, the back wheel becomes invisible there, and then the front and the rear of the back wheel are lying further over. Yeah, so even by a rule of thumb, it's towed in much too much. Okay, so that's a good indicator, isn't it? Let me get prepared so that I can actually make an adjustment. This is where a pit would be great, wouldn't it? Let me get prepared so that I can make an adjustment, and I'll bring you back when there's more to show. What I might do as well, let's have a think about this, is have a quick look at a video where I'm driving it on a straight road and look to see where the steering wheel is. Because what I might be able to do is make all the adjustments on one side, let's say, and try and centre up the steering. That might be a step too far, mightn't it? But, you know, that's worth a go. And I'll also look at what the tow-in spec is. So I'm going to go in the house, get changed, come back out with some numbers and angle on the steering wheel. Okay, let's do that. Here's my book. Tow in 1/16 to 1/8 inch, but that there is the only number I can adjust. All them are, you know, just built into the car. So 1/16 to 1/8, so there's my dimension. And I've reviewed the video, which I've got here. And you can see on these straight bits of road, that's the sort of angle of the steering wheel. With this spoke at around about 45 degrees. I can also see the steering wheel is supposed to be arranged in that orientation, with the spokes as a shallow V, like that. Hello, I'm under the car. I've noticed on this one's quite a long way in, and that one there isn't, and this one here isn't as far in, so I'm going to undo this one and screw it in a bit. That will track the wheels out a little bit. I couldn't work with the car on the ground, I've had to jack it up. I have got an axle stand as a safety item there. Oh. That must have frightened it. I was just reaching for the hammer. I was just reaching for the hammer to take it off. There we go. I've already loosened that one there. This is the right hand thread. Let's take the lock nut back a bit further. I've just had a look, and I'm going to treat trying to straighten the steering wheel up as a separate job. Okay, let's see let's put that on at that, and we'll take a measurement. Well, that has made a difference. It's actually now reading 30 minutes, just over 30 minutes, towed out. And we want, what did we say we wanted? We want about 15 minutes towed in, don't we? Look, 16th, 1/8, 3:32, 15 minutes. We want about 15 minutes towed in. So, yeah. So let's just give this one a little turn. Ooh. Now, hang on, it's towed out now, so I need to lengthen this rod, don't I? If that's a right hand thread at that end over there, I need to turn the rod sort of anti-clockwise from this end that I'm looking at. Hang on. So if we're going upside down. So let me see if I can give this just a little twiddle like that. Okay. Now I'll give the steering a wobble and bounce it up and down a bit, and then take another measurement. I didn't look to see how far I'd move that then, but let's just see what that does for us. This is actually reading, it's reading 0 now, but we need to check the 0. I didn't set the 0, did I? I'll show you how you do that. So as you can see, what I've done there is to align the I don't know what you call the gauge bars there. So what I'm going to do now is look down the thing and see that it's reading 0 here. Yeah, that does read 0. Obviously you have to take account of any parallax and stuff like that, but for the accuracy that we're working with, that's on 0. So the suspension at the moment is around about 0, so I need to go a little bit further with that adjustment. That's 30 minutes, that's too much. So I'll undo it again and turn it the other way. I've gone too far now. But it's a hell of a lot better than it was. It's 30 minutes, just over, which is approximately 3/16, which is a hell of a lot better than more than half an inch. And what I'll do for a final reading is I'll roll the car back 6 foot and back in again 6 foot and take the reading again. Okay, I've just reset that thing again. I'm going to push the car backwards 6 foot and then bring it forward 6 foot. Now back to the same place. I'll try that anyway. It's reading around about 20 minutes. So the 0 and the 30 minutes, look, it's in between. And 20 minutes is around about 1/8 of an inch. So do I try and adjust it once more? I think I will, for the sake of what it takes. Just a very slight adjustment, one more slight adjustment. Okay, I'd say that's perfect. .332, halfway between the 16th and 1/8. Okay, good. The other thing that I want to address is the steering wheel being completely out of alignment. I can't just undo the nut and take the wheel off because of this. The steering wheel is also slightly loose, so I want to look why that is as well. But that will be a job for another day. I can live with that for now, but I'm glad that I took the time to get these gauges out, because as you can see the adjustment really was a long way out. I do need to go back underneath and tighten everything up properly. It's only nipped at the moment. And what I need to do for the steering is right down there is like a clamp. It's very oily and dirty and messy, but you see there's like, I don't know, some sort of a nut and a bolt. I've got to undo that clamp and pull the horn rod up enough to get to the steering wheel nut, get the steering wheel off and put it back on. But what I want to do, thinking about it again, is now that I've made the adjustment, yeah, okay, let's think this through, Mart. You're an engineer. Okay, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to tighten everything up now that the adjustment is correct for the tracking. I'm going to do a test drive and make a note of where the steering wheel is, because who's to say those wheels are actually straight at the moment? They might be slightly out, you know. So I'll get on a straight bit of road and I will make a note of where the steering wheel is clocked and put a mark on it, or a piece of tape or something at top dead centre. I will then come back, put the wheel at the straight ahead position, which, you know, to my mark, and then carefully, without moving the steering, take the steering wheel off, turn it to how I want it on the splines, to the closest spline, and put it back on, and then tighten it up. I'll then drive it again and see if it's out at all. If it is out a tiny bit, I can then come back and make an adjustment down at the bottom end there. Lengthen this one, shorten that one, you know, by the same amount, and then double check the alignment again. It's quite a big iterative process. Okay, I told you what I'm going to do. I'll get tidied up then, put everything away. But I could tell just from rolling it that it feels more free rolling than it did. Okay. Thank you very much for joining me in the garage then. I hope you found that interesting, watching the tracking procedure. Obviously if you were on a ramp or, you know, some other, you know, or with a pit, that's what's ideal for doing that sort of thing. But you can arrive at a reasonable figure if you keep working at it. Okay, thank you very much for joining me in the garage then. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next one. Hello, right. In the interests of full disclosure, I found I was a little bit out. I hadn't got the gauge nestled in quite properly. And then I've done about 4 more iterations since I turned the camera off. And what I found was, let's get underneath, I'll kind of show you. What I found was, I would make an adjustment and then kind of lose the adjustment while trying to tighten up the lock nuts, because to tighten these lock nuts, that one at that end goes upwards and this one at this end also goes upwards, because this is a left hand thread and that's a right hand thread. And what was happening was I was setting the adjustment here, but as I was tightening the lock nuts, it was turning the rod, so I was kind of losing it. And what I did in the end was I put this pair of grips on the rod so that I could hold the rod steady while I tightened the nuts. And now I've tightened the nuts and the adjustment kind of locked in. I rolled the car back to the edge of the garage floor and back in again, and I've just measured it and it's come out bang on 15 degrees, so that's good. Definitely you want some sort of tape or something, or some marks on the thing, so that you can keep track of the rod, because it's all very simple. It shouldn't do anything unexpectedly. Obviously with the clamping, you know, the clamps that go around, it's probably a little bit easier to settle in the adjustment that you're trying to put in. I just thought I'd give you that little epilogue. Okay, once more, thank you very much for joining me in the garage. Thanks for subscribing, thanks for clicking like, thank you very much for leaving a comment as well. Take care of yourselves and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers then, bye. Hello, I'm carrying on with my wheel alignment job. I have just been for a short test drive and I can see that the steering wheel isn't straight when the car is going straight. So I want to make a correction. For the sake of completeness, I'm not quite sure how to word this. What I want to do is make sure that the wheels are straight when the steering box is straight. So my question is the steering wheel straight on the steering box? So what I'm going to do is turn the wheel until it hits the steering stop on the right, and then count the turns back to the steering stop on the left, and then go halfway between and say to myself, that ought to be the midpoint of the steering box. It might not be, but you know, it's a good indicator as anything. So, and the question then is the steering wheel straight when it's in that position? So let's do that. When I drive down the road, as I look with my dominant eye, which is my right eye, the this spoke of the steering wheel was like that beam light there was just the one side of it, and that oil light there was just the other side. So as I'm sitting here now, that is the straight ahead position. Okay, so that's when the wheels are straight. So let's go all the way to the right, if I can. Oh, okay, that's just touched a stop. So what should we say? So I'm holding it top dead there. Okay, that's half a turn. Another half a turn, that's one turn. 1.5. 2 turns. And actually that's 2 turns plus a tiny bit. So let's count that again then. So, to put a mark on it, I suppose. 1 turn, a bit awkward. 2 turns, yeah, that's back to the stop there. So 1 turn around there. That is the midpoint of the box, and you can see there that this spoke is this side of the beam and the oil light. So that is the midpoint of the box, like that, and that's where my wheels are straight. So I do need to move the steering wheel on the splines, and then a slight adjustment down at the steering box, on the steering arms. So I need to loosen this, and I don't loosen this here, I have to loosen it right down at the bottom of the steering box. So let's get set up then. We'll get down there and have a look and see what I need to do to loosen this off, and then I'm hoping I can just pull this up enough to get access to the nut, undo the nut, pull the steering wheel off, turn it straight, and then we can then go from there. I'm assuming that if you undo this, you should be able to withdraw the rod up the middle. I'm hoping there's enough slack in it for it to go up far enough to give me access to the nut at the top. I wonder if the nut is captive. Yeah, oh no, I don't think so. I think the nut's bigger. Yeah, the nut's bigger. Maybe just slacken it that much will be enough to lift it up. Okay, so I've managed to lift this up. That's given me access to the nut, which is down there. Now this steering wheel, can you see the steering wheel is loose? But anyway, nonetheless, I've got to get onto that nut there and undo it. I don't want to take this all the way out because it's not that easy to get it back in again. Let me see if I can find a spanner that will go on there. Okay, it's 15/16. The trouble is you can only sort of come down at an angle like that. The nut wasn't very tight. Looks like somebody else has been on here with a chisel. Okay, you get the idea. Let me use 2 hands to get it to have a go. Okay, so I've got this aligned like I had it, which is just against the edge of that thing there. So I'm going to lift it off and put it on straight, hopefully. Okay, so now I need to put it on to the closest spline to that. Okay. Okay, that's about the closest spline I can put on to have it straight. Right, I will proceed to tighten that up. I imagine there's supposed to be a washer on here. I hope I can tighten it up okay, because I'm not going to be able to put a washer on really. I might have to come up with something. Because of the bruising on the nut, I can't get on the one pair of flats very well. Okay, I need two hands to steady the wheel and try and tighten it. I've done it up and I managed to get it nice and tight. That needs to go back down there now and nice and straight. So that's nice and straight now. So now I need to get back underneath and try and tighten the nut underneath. But now the steering wheel isn't loose. I can't wobble it on the shaft. Righto. Okay, I'll stop recording at that point there, and I will go and tighten up the little clamp on the stator tube for this. Back in a bit. Hello. Right, I've set the wheel straight as far as I can tell. That's, you know, about straight. I've done up the little clamp for this. The steering box is in the straight ahead position. I think to drive straight down the road, I need to be a bit like that. What I want to do is to adjust the steering. I'm probably going a step too far here, and I should just make it easy for myself by just leaving it like that, because it would be better than it was. But I've just looked here. Now, I don't know if it's moved since I've just moved the steering wheel. And having everything all jacked up isn't the best way to do anything, but so if you look, hang on, let's have a look. If you look kind of along the line of the sill, can you see the back edge of this tyre by the bottom of the sill and the front edge of this tyre? They just about now, and it's more or less in line with the back tyre. The back tyre is virtually in line with it. Now look at this one. Now you see the back edge of the front tyre, look. As I swing across to this point here, you can still see loads of the rear tyre. In other words, these tyres are turned slightly to the left, because the edge of that tyre is parallel with that tyre, and this tyre is halfway, you know, not halfway, but down that tyre. So I need to turn them both to the right a little bit. So I need to lengthen this track rod and shorten that track rod by the same amount. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to have a stab at half a turn. What I'll do half a turn and see where this wheel aligns on the tyre. If it comes out a bit to about half of what I just saw, I'll call it good, and I'll do half a turn on that one, and hopefully that one will be into the same amount, and then that will be closer than what I have right now this minute. I'll get underneath and do that. You don't need to see me doing that, and I'll bring you back in a little bit. Okay, well I've got it right, have I? It's closer than it was. Okay, so as I'm sitting there driving, that spoke there is on the, where it says fuel on the gauge. Think about what I've done in case I've done it wrong, so I'll go back and I'll look at all the footage and I'll think about what I've done, and just finished making the final adjustment, and I just thought I'd take a little bit of, just a little bit with the camera just to show you what I've been doing. Basically, on this car, this is the right hand thread, that's a left hand thread, so to undo them you turn them down, and on this side I wanted to shorten the rod, so because this is the right hand thread I had to turn this down. So what I did, I put the grips on there, I won't clamp them on tight, and then turned it a quarter turn like that, and I'm hoping that that might centre up the steering. If not, I'll do a test drive and see where it is, and then make a further adjustment if necessary. There's the other side, and what I've been doing is turning the wheels like that so that it's easier to reach. Just lying by the side here and reaching under. Okay, I'll give it another run then and we'll see how it looks. Back in a bit. Turn each and just try it. Okay, let's come back in a little bit then. Well, that hasn't made any difference at all, so I think I went wrong then. I think I've done this one the wrong way. I've just checked the alignment, and it's towed in just a little bit too much. It's at 30 minutes instead of 15 minutes. Now I didn't notice a difference when I drove down the road then, even though I adjusted both the things. So what I think I did, what I think I might have done is adjusted one the wrong way. So it's going to be tedious trying to explain the thinking. Right, the wheel's like that. If I go like that, it'll steer to the left, won't it? Right. Steer to the left. So I need to tow that one in and this one out. Yeah, I think I towed this one in instead of towing it out. I think I will make an adjustment on this side only. Okay, leave it with me then, I'll come back in a minute. Okay, I've made another adjustment. I'm going to go for a test drive now, hopefully it's okay. Still a little bit off in it. Try one more adjustment. That's adjusted one whole turn. I've moved the wheels one turn to the right. To be honest, that's got the wheel better. It's alright actually. catch you on the next one. Cheers then, bye. On the steering, I think I did one more adjustment iteration after I filmed the other pieces, so you can see that it's worked. It's looking good now, it's nice and straight. Pleased with that. Okay, once more, thank you very much for joining me in the garage. Thanks for subscribing, thanks for clicking like, thank you very much for leaving a comment as well. Take care of yourselves and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers then, bye.